Aloha, everyone. I'm Gloria, and with me today is Debbie, and I'm going to be giving a mini connecting session. By that, I mean an intuitive session where I go deeply into the depths of Debbie's soul to find out exactly what's going on with her. And Debbie and I discussed already that we would be taking a look at her sadness. So what I do, it's like I tune into a radio station and I tune into Debbie's station, or if you will, Debbie's energy. And I look into Debbie's energy and I find out what's going on. And I tell her the truth, a high truth, if you will, because it comes from the depth of her very own soul. I tell her the truth, and then I listen. What can she gracefully do to move beyond that place that's keeping her stuck or that's interfering with what she wants, that's disempowering her in one way or another? Before we get started, I will do some deep breaths, and I ask that people I work with to focus in on their heart region, so that we breathe with the intention of breathing directly into our heart. And if that helps, I sometimes have them touch their heart so their body knows here's the energy, here's where we're going. And we breathe into our heart, long deep breaths. We'll pause in our heart region, and then we slowly exhale. Sometimes I'll have people let out with an audible sigh. So Debbie, since you feel stressed to me today, we're going to breathe deeply, and I'm hearing 3 deep heart breaths. And then each time we're going to exhale with an audible sigh. So after Debbie and I do a few deep breaths, I will then say a prayer. And then what I'll do is take a moment and I'll be listening deeply, as I said, to Debbie's station or Debbie's energy on a soul level. Why is it that Debbie's holding so much sadness right now? Okay, so let's begin by breathing in deeply together now. And slowly exhaling with a sigh. Letting go. Just letting go of all cares and worries. Another deep breath in. And a slow, audible sigh. Noticing the difference the breath makes. Another deep breath in. And once again, exhaling with an audible sigh. And I'll pray. Beloved Creator of all that is, thank you for this moment of time, for coming together on behalf of Debbie, on behalf of her highest divine good, thus on behalf of the highest divine good of all that is. I ask that you enfold us in your glorious white light, your miracle mantle of protection. I ask to be a pure vessel, receiving information from the depths of Debbie's soul, as well as from the Most High. I ask that Debbie receive exactly what she needs in this point in time to assist her in moving through her sadness with grace and with ease. I know as I ask, I receive. I sing praises of glory. Hallelujah. Thank you, beloved. And so it is. Amen. Okay, Debbie. So I want you just to focus in and take some nice breaths as I listen closely on a deep soul level. What's going on? Why are you feeling so much sadness? Give me a moment, please. So, Debbie, what I'm hearing, dear, is that your back is up against a wall, and it may feel like, as the saying goes, all hell is breaking loose.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really happening on a higher level is heavens are opening wide. So it may feel as if all hell is breaking loose. The reason all of this is happening at once, why you're feeling so sad, it feels like you're feeling sad about a number of things, sad about work, sad about relationships, sad about your own state of health. You have layers of sadness, it feels like, going on inside of you right now. But all this sadness has come to a head. Doesn't it feel like that?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, like all your sadness has come to a head, almost like it's a boiling point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but what's happening, what feels like crap, on a
Mm-hmm.
higher level, you're actually being given the opportunity to wake up. You can think of this layers of sadness as a wake up call. You're being
Mm-hmm.
asked to wake up to what you really want. What do you really want for your health? What do you really want in relationships? What do you really want in your acts of service or your work? What does Debbie really want? You're being asked to look at the direction you truly want to go in and to move beyond that whichever keeps you from moving beyond. It feels like it's mostly fear.
Okay.
You have afraid of, if let me feel this a moment, dear. It's a big what if. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I do this, then what happens over here? And what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that? Can you relate to what I'm saying?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So those what ifs, dear, they're really keeping you in a state of fear. And it's that fear of your what ifs that keep you where you don't want to be. And the fact that you're willing to stay where you don't want to be on so many levels, it's like your soul is saying, enough already.
Yeah.
And enough already is the universe coming back to you and giving you actually the vibration of where you're at, energetically
Mm-hmm.
where you're at. Because energetically, you don't want to be doing all the things that you're doing and having the kind of relationships that mostly that you're having. You actually
Right.
want to be doing something else. You want to be in a different kind of relationship. You want all these things to be different, but your what ifs, your fears are keeping you from moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So the universe is actually matching what you're saying. I don't want this anymore. I don't want that anymore. I don't want this anymore. So the universe is saying, well, let's get rid of it.
Okay.
And so all these things feel like they're happening on an external level or actively in your life. They feel
Mm-hmm.
like they're transpiring and they're completely out of your control. But
Mm-hmm.
truly, Debbie, they're not outside of your control, dear. The universe is actually giving you what you're saying you want. And what you're saying you want is, I don't want this anymore.
Okay.
If you were listening on a really deep level, and if you could move beyond those fears you have, you would be giving yourself what you want. And if you were giving yourself what you want, it wouldn't feel like all hell is breaking loose.
Right.
It would feel like you really are sitting in heaven on earth, are living heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be quiet for just a moment so you can respond to what I've told you. Anything you want to say, comments, questions, anything at all, dear.
Well, it's kind of what I already knew, I guess I should say, because and I guess figuring out how to move beyond is my part, and taking the leap, which I did with the last set of interviews. I did take the leap of faith, but knowing that maybe that was just an opportunity to see what it was like to take that leap of faith and know that whether it works out or not, it felt really good. So to be okay enough to do that.
Mhm. Great, Debbie. So what we want to do here today is we want to give you a way that you can build on what you call your leap of faith so that you
Right.
can begin to move through your fears.
Okay.
So I'm going to listen what is the most graceful way for you to begin moving through those fears so you can feel you can take that leap of faith and actually give your soul what it's wanting.
Right.
Just a moment. I'm listening and I hear to first of all to ask you, Debbie, in terms of the celestial kingdom, who do you feel most connected to?
You mean angels or whichever is Michael?
Oh,
Yeah.
or it could be Mother Mary or Kuan Yin or Jesus or angels or Archangel Michael. You feel most connected
Yeah.
to Archangel Michael?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to, Debbie, see what you're needing is to know that you're not alone. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of what's going on with you. Can you feel that, dear?
Oh yeah. I've been missing my mom and dad a lot lately.
Yeah,
And I know it because I feel real alone.
yeah. So the first step in quieting your fears is to give you the feeling of not being alone. And it's true, you aren't alone, but it doesn't
No.
matter that that's the truth if you don't feel it.
Right. It's very much, yes.
Yeah. So there's a little prayer that my husband says around Archangel Michael. And I don't know if I can remember it all here, but I will email it to you.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
But he's called Lord Michael in the prayer. And I'll just give you what I can remember of it so you can get a sense of what that is. And I'll give you more to do as well, but I want you to know that I want you to start saying this prayer immediately. So when my husband gets home, I'll ask him all the words to it. I'll email it to you tonight so you have it first thing your time tomorrow morning.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. It's Lord Michael before, Lord Michael behind, Lord Michael to the right, Lord Michael to the left, Lord Michael above, Lord Michael below, Lord Michael, wherever I go. I am his love protecting here. I am his love protecting here. That's as much as I remember.
Okay. That's really nice.
Isn't that nice? And it's a
Mm-hmm.
little catchy, so I think you could write it down and you could begin saying it. It feels like begin saying it to yourself, like as you're walking around. It feels like when you're walking around at work, you're saying this prayer to yourself. It feels like when you sit down at your computer, you say that prayer before you begin whatever it is you're doing. It feels like when you get home at night and you take your shower or you put your PJs on or whatever, you say it again then so he's at home with you. So it's like you don't leave your house without Archangel Michael, you see.
Right.
Okay. And the more you say that, and the more you allow yourself to say that everywhere you go, you'll begin feeling as if, hey, I'm not alone. Archangel Michael has my back. The way you're going to feel the truth of that is the practice of it consistently a few times every day, at least a few times. So I would have it at home. I would have it a couple times at work, maybe a couple times at home, a minimum of 3 times a day. You want to consciously bring that prayer up and say that. And you may want to breathe it deeply in as you say it. You may want to envision that that breath has a color, and as you breathe in that breath and that color into your body, Archangel Michael is right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can play with it. Make it as real and as tangible to you as you possibly can, because when you say that prayer, Archangel Michael will be listening. He will hear you. Archangels come to the call. They love coming to our calls. They love it. So that's the beginning for you, dear, to build on your feeling of not being alone. Okay? Okay, I'm going to take a moment and just hear what's next. Okay, dear, the second thing, you're to write out what if on a piece of paper and think of something you want, and then write your biggest fear about it. What if that fear happens? So let me give you a quick example. Let's say it's something to do with work. What if I quit my job? Maybe that's something you want to do, but yet you're afraid to do. So what if I quit my job and I'm out of money? So you want to say the fear behind it. What if I quit my job and I'll have no money? Then write out what that means to you. Write out how you really feel about that. And keep writing about it. Use the question why with it, Debbie. Remember, dear, you were at the retreat I gave in the fall, the Highest Expression Retreat, and we did a why.
Right.
Okay, so I want to explain it for those that are listening, because if they'd like to try this as well. When you ask the question why, it allows you to go deeper and deeper and deeper, right? So when you write it out, like, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to make something up. What if I quit my job and I have no money? My fear is I won't be able to pay my bills. Why am I afraid that I can't pay my bills? What's the fear behind that? Well, why am I afraid of that? And why am I afraid of that? Each fear, why am I afraid of that? Why am I afraid of that? Why am I afraid of that? You keep asking why you're afraid, okay? And in doing that, you're going to get to a core of what you're really afraid of.
Right.
Okay? So after you do that, and you may end up doing it in more than one sitting, you may want to write it out, and then you think of, and only do one subject at a time. So let's say you start with work and you're writing out your fears. You may take a few different days. Maybe you're at work one day and you think, oh, I forgot about that fear. I'll do a writing exercise around if I quit my job, and this is a fear I didn't think of before. I'll use that fear and go to the why of that fear.
Okay.
May give yourself several days, you see, with that one subject, the fear around work. Then the next time, let's say you do one subject over several days, give yourself a break. The following week, do the next subject. Maybe it's a relationship. Then you start with that and give yourself several days around that, okay? Till you get to the why at the deeper fears. Okay. When you get to the deeper fears, Debbie, it feels like you're going to find a peace that you don't have in this moment, because you're going to realize, well, I'm not going to tell you what you're going to realize. I want you to experience that. Please email me after you've done at least one of these.
Okay. Let
me know how it goes for you. Let me know the underlying fear or fears that you went into, and let me know how you feel about it. Now, after doing a couple of subjects over a couple of couple of weeks, then if you're feeling more peaceful, which it feels you will be, especially having Lord Michael or Archangel Michael go everywhere with you, because see, behind the what ifs, the biggest fear is that you'll end up alone. Right. Well, actually behind that is the fear that you won't be loved. Somehow you're not good enough to be loved. It's not good enough being loved. That's behind the fear of being alone. So the fear is, I'm thinking it's the fear of all these other things, but the bigger fear is I won't be loved, and then that proves I'm not good enough. You see how it all ties together, dear?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just listening here a moment. So after doing that for a couple of weeks, I want you to try what if every time you think what if after doing that, after purging basically all of your fears on paper and the why. Then I want you to begin practicing what if the opposite way. So instead of every time a fear comes up, you're to retrain your mind, Debbie. It'll take a little mind discipline, but I know you can do it. You're to retrain your mind. By that, I mean you're to say, say a fear, what if I don't have any money? What if I have more money? And what if by having more money, I can do even more things for my grandkids? And what if by having more money, I could go visit Gloria after all this stuff stops in Hawaii? What if I could have that dream, make my house the dream house that I want every room to be? Do you see? So I want you to take the what if, and as soon as you notice that you have a what if that leads you down a path of fear, oops, just think, oops, no big deal. Oops, I have to what if it in a positive way. And allow your mind to go, what if this? And allow it to build on that what if in a very positive way. Really expand on that what if in a positive way. I want you to practice that. Think of it as you're going to practice the what if game. But you're not going to practice the what if game in a positive way until you've done the what ifs that are holding you down and keeping you in fear and creating so much sadness within you over at least a couple of weeks. Okay?
Yes.
I want to be quiet a moment. I want you to ask me or share with me any feelings or thoughts you have.
Well, I do want to say what's really funny about the prayer is for a couple days now, I have been hearing just say what's above and what's below and what's all around me is protecting me. And now I know why. I know, right? It's like, how funny is that? That is, and started yesterday, and I kept hearing it every time I'd start to get stressed out. I'd hear, well, what's below and what's above and what's around is protecting you.
Oh.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is, absolutely, Debbie. There he is.
Wow.
See how
Wow.
you're so connected to Archangel Michael that he's feeling you, hearing you, knowing your needs. He's just used me as a vessel to give you a direct way to build on that protection and have him close so you feel him. It's not that he isn't close, it's that you need to begin experiencing him and feeling him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to feel him holding me tonight when I go to sleep, like in his hands, because I know he's bigger than anything I can imagine.
Yes. And Debbie, what a beautiful thing you just said. Do you realize you just said something that you could begin doing each night to show you that you are protected as well as loved?
Yes.
So every night before you go to bed, I want you to call on Archangel Michael in your own words, dear, and ask him to please enfold you in his love and to make certain that you feel his love throughout the night as you sleep and that you continue to feel his love upon awakening.
Yes. Okay.
And take a deep breath and call him forth. And do that every night. Look, I love how you knew exactly what you needed. Dear, what we're doing right now is we're just building on the layers for you. Think of it, you have layers of sadness, so we need layers so you can move through that sadness. So we're going to do that by the Lord Michael prayer, by Archangel loving you every night before you go to sleep and claiming that love, morning, noon, and night, if you will. We're going to do it by you getting to the bottom of your fears around that which you don't want, but what you really want. Do you
Mhm.
understand? So first you have to go what you don't want. What do you fear? You know? Do you understand, Debbie?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play with the what if game and have fun with it and make it into a game. Just the idea that you're going to be playing a game will help you feel differently. But I don't want you to start the game till you've done this deeper work and after you've been feeling Archangel Michael for a couple of weeks. Then you start playing the game.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay. Yes.
So how do you feel about all that, dear?
I feel really good about it. Thank you. Yes.
You're so welcome, Debbie. I
Yes.
feel that's enough for right now, especially since this is a mini session and not a full session. But I want to
Okay.
make sure that you feel you have what you need in order to begin the process of moving through your sadness.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. As soon as you said the prayer, I knew I had it. It's like, oh, he's been here all along.
I love it.
I know, right? Like, who are you? Yeah.
Well, Debbie, I want to thank you for being willing to share this publicly so other people can be helped as
Mhm.
well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that, dear. And I want to tell the other folks, please feel free to go to my website. I have free gifts on there and you can check out the free gifts. I love freebies. So my website is my name, Gloria with an S. So it's Gloria's Connecting, just the word connecting, gloriasconnecting.com. So please go there and get your free gifts. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this with Debbie and I and listen to this. I hope it's been of some help to you. Until next time, aloha.